Yeah, what's good with it? It's your boy, Mr. Wilson. And guess who we have here with us on the block today? We got Mystah GT.
Boom.
You know what I'm saying? Holding down Pasadena for us. What's good with you, man?
What's good, man?
Chilling, man. Thanks for coming through for this exclusive interview with the Wilson Block.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? So, man, just give us a quick background on, you know what I'm saying, where you're coming from, what you do.
Okay. Number one, I want to say thank you very much,
For sure.
Mr. Wilson, letting me come on to the show.
No doubt.
Super excited, and first interview, so I'm probably going to mess up and stumble over a couple of things, but I'll just try and be me as much as possible. So, background, 26 years old, Pasadena, went to Elliott, went to Muir, graduated 06.
Thank you.
Yep, went to college, and basically I've been rapping since I was like 18.
Did you go to PCC?
And no, I went to Cal State LA.
Oh, word?
So yeah, I got my bachelor's in
what?
business.
Oh, wow,
of course.
that's awesome, man.
So yeah, I mean that's what it's all about. You know, it's
Exactly.
all about end of the day. That's why we're here for the business.
Exactly. A
And,
lot of local artists ain't even thinking like that.
Yeah.
You know, me included.
Well, that's the
Right.
big thing.
Right.
And you have to look at your short, middle, and long term goals.
Right.
You know, what am I going to do in the next 3 to 6 months? Okay, cool.
Right.
If I can accomplish that, what am I going to do in the next 6 to 12? Boom.
Exactly.
And then 12 to who knows? I mean, if you can put a tour together, 5 shows, in a month, netting you $1,000 a show, you just made $5,000 a month.
Right.
I don't know anybody really making $5,000 a month right now.
Man,
Outside of
independently,
lawyers, right? I mean,
Right.
independently, of course. So, I think that's what it's about. It's about getting that and spreading your message. And it has to be a positive one. It has to be one that people can really vibe with.
Right, and get behind.
Right.
Exactly. So before we get into a lot of the music stuff, you know what I'm saying, just tell me a little bit more about your experiences growing up in Pasadena.
Okay. A lot of good experiences. We never had much as a family. So, like, my dad was the only one working. He was a teacher, LAUSD. And so we wouldn't, have the most. We wouldn't have the most, but we always had enough. So, I mean, that's pretty much it. And everybody would understand that because a lot of people in Pasadena, they didn't have a lot either.
Right.
You can put on a clean T-shirt, you can put on some nice shoes, but that's about as far as it would go. We weren't the ones jumping into Mercedes-Benzes and BMWs in high school.
Right.
Quite
so. Naturally.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So
high school. But yeah. So what led you to become an artist?
Okay. Biggest number one thing was just listening to music on the radio. And believing in myself that I could create something better than what's on the radio.
Right.
Not only just musically speaking, but also content-wise.
Right.
I think that was a big thing. Just where was the substance?
Right. So what you saying, your music matters.
That's what I think.
Absolutely. Yeah, I strongly believe that.
Okay.
Because it has the power to, that little kid that just heard that song as you drove by. You know what I mean? They might go around saying it over and over, and depending on what you said that they heard can determine where they go with it, whether it's a positive thing or a negative thing.
Right. Absolutely.
And that's the power of that. So tell me a little bit about what goes into some of the songs that you write.
Okay.
I heard The Weeknd. The Weeknd was my favorite.
Right.
It was dope. I
Right.
kind of liked how you just kind of laid it down.
Yeah.
Kind of liked your wordplay on that one.
Yep. Weekend was cool. Actually, I worked on the recording of that one with an artist that you just had an interview with, Also.
Oh,
So
yeah.
shout out to Also. He's an
Oso.
awesome guy.
No doubt.
He has his little setup. So
Yeah.
but with that one, the biggest thing was I wanted something that was going to be more for everybody.
Right.
Because a lot of my songs, will have to deal with drugs, like not doing drugs, because I'm sober myself.
That's good.
So like I have a song, I Believe, and basically it goes like, I believe in sex, I believe in selling, I believe in doing cocaine by the melon. And so that's kind of like the hook, but at the end of it, I say, people get mad because I stopped smoking pot, because I stopped sipping potions, because I stopped sniffing anything, and that's what it's about. It's about, you have to go through the phases.
Absolutely.
And that's my life journey. So go through the phases, but then at the end of the day, be better for it.
Absolutely. And so you take everything that you go through in that and you put it in your music. You convey it in the lyrics
Right.
in your music.
I try my best to.
Yeah. And so where are you getting a lot of your production from?
So right now, there's this one guy in Pasadena, also super awesome, E&G.
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar with
I think I might have
him.
heard of him.
Yeah, so he can make some beats. I mean, he just throws down in 15, 20 minutes. He has a beat popped out.
Oh, wow.
So I'm trying to work with him as much as I can. There's another guy, the real Amani.
Yeah, shout out Really
yeah,
Money.
yeah.
Whoa.
Yep. And he gave me a few beats, a handful actually, and so I've used every single one of those.
Yeah. And he's real underrated.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
I think so.
I think his beats and even his song composition is on point.
I haven't heard any of his new stuff. I'm trying to.
Yeah.
just
I mean,
can't
you heard
find
his
it.
old stuff. They Don't
Yeah.
Know, Find a Way.
Right.
You know what I mean? That stuff was cool. You know,
Yeah.
I was a real fan of that. Like, I actually listened to it still today.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. But his beats are out of control.
Yeah.
I love the way he can put it together.
Yeah.
And then honestly, just a lot of YouTube stuff that I
Right.
hear, or if it's like a catchy pop song that that I haven't heard before, I like
Right.
to use it as well. Because I don't really listen to the radio too much.
Right.
Because then people say, "Oh, you use the same lines like they influenced you," and it's like, no,
Exactly.
this is all just coming from my head.
Right. So, let's touch on performances.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You were telling me that you just had a performance at the end of June.
Yeah.
And that was where?
It was at the Terrace in
Terrace.
Pasadena.
Yeah.
Yes.
And who were some acts there? Who
So there were a few people on after me, but the headliner was Blue.
Okay.
So yeah, I caught about the second half of his set because after my set I took off.
Yeah.
And I had to go get some food, calm
Yeah.
down. It was my
Right.
first show, ever. So
Was
I
there a lot of
felt-
adrenaline
Yeah,
or what?
a ton of adrenaline. I would recommend everybody in the world to get on a stage.
Yeah.
Even if it's for 5 minutes, like get on a
Right.
stage. Had a dancer up there. She was like a circus acrobat. She
Wow.
was doing all kinds of contortion moves and
Wow.
hula hooping. And so it was really
Wow.
for the fans. It was for the people. I wanted
Yeah.
them to be entertained.
Right.
Because I think that's what a performance is all about.
Absolutely, man. It's not just, let me get up here and just hurrah.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's
Right.
a show. You got to impact the people. It has to be engaging.
Yeah.
They got to feel it. So how did that go? Did the crowd receive you well?
Yeah, I think so. Actually, I didn't really want to say this. Probably shouldn't. But so at the end of the show, right, I came back and everybody was like cool. They were cheering. But I like to get the crowd involved. Ask
Yeah.
them how they're doing. They've had a
Absolutely.
long week. It was Friday.
Man.
Show's on Friday. What's going on? What's good, Pasadena? Right.
For real.
So everybody explodes. But at the very end, I come in and I'm checking out the end of the scene, the end of the show, and there was 3 fans. It was 2 girls. One of those girls was actually really cute too. So kind of shout out. And a dude. And basically, like I was by the stage, hanging out by the wall.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh, you were on earlier," and I was like, "Yeah, I was on." Like, "That was your first show?" I was like, "Yeah." They were like, "You were awesome."
Wow.
Like, we paid for this guy, but like your show was
Exactly.
awesome. Yeah. So and that feels great. Like
Yeah.
that's why I'm coming back.
Yeah.
Because
Absolutely. Oh yeah. So you're actually performing this Friday at the Terrace.
correct. Yeah.
And is you opening up for somebody? or-
Immaculate and Sapient.
Okay.
So check some of their stuff out. It was pretty
Yeah.
cool. It was decent. It's really similar actually.
Right.
I didn't really hear too much of that gunplay stuff. And,
Right.
Negative things because
Right.
that's not going to get anybody anywhere.
Exactly. And that's and honestly, man, I think a lot of that was put in the music in the 90s really influenced the generation today. The 90s babies that really, it was the 80s babies that really put it out there. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right.
But really, the 80s and the 90s babies are the real generation that is, and even the generation after the 90s is really like being influenced by what was conveyed in the 90s
Right.
with all that negative. you
Right.
know? And what's your views on that? I mean, you believe that, what you say in your music, it's powerful.
Right. So I think the biggest thing is we have to move towards more unity and more
Yeah,
peace.
absolutely.
Because if we keep talking about, holding guns and using guns and this and that, well, eventually somebody's going to call you out.
Exactly.
And then what are you going to do? You have 2 options, right? You can stand by your word, right, and be a man, or you can collapse down. Now, if you would have never spoken that kind of way,
Right.
you wouldn't have to be there.
Exactly.
And I understand, every situation is different, but if you've never shot anybody, then don't sing a song that you have or you want to, because it's not a good thing. It's not a positive. This is
and that was the whole thing. They make it seem like it's cool,
right.
Yeah. And that's why I'm trying to get all the local artists to get conscientious and just do it the right way, because this next generation is watching.
Right. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about some of the artists you worked with. Have you worked with anybody, like musicians?
So musically, like vocals wise, no, like
like rappers.
Rappers, I mean, E&G, he also raps as well a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's might have where I heard of him.
Yeah, he raps a little bit, but no, not too much. I mean, I'm always open, like, to work with people, but I'm brand new, coming out. Like, I've been releasing my own stuff for about 7 months now.
Okay.
So now it's time, I'm getting some shows, so now it's time to collaborate with other people.
Yeah.
And
who are some artists you'd like to work with?
Oh, man, there's a ton. I mean, just on
the local level.
On a local level, yeah. I think Also will be cool.
Yeah.
I like the way he can mix his music.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's a really good producer.
Yeah.
And so that's great. And another guy too. I mean, Imani, like I said, haven't heard too much of his new stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm sure he can lay down. And he'll school me a little bit. He'll be like, let's work on your cadence, work on what you're actually saying. Like, don't say it too fast and don't slow it down too much. So he, technically speaking, I'm sure he could really, it would really be awesome, to work with.
And so he's coming at you with like artist development, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Don't go too fast, don't go too slow, but find your pocket.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And that's very few in between.
I know.
With, local artists.
Yeah.
Cool, man. So you're no stranger to Pasadena.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What are your views? Just from your point of view, what are your views on the local music scene in Pasadena, Altadena?
Okay. Well, I think the biggest thing is we need to get louder, and we need to get on the radio. Like, as much as I say, I don't listen to the radio. I don't listen to the radio right now.
Right.
But once we can get some better music on it, let's do it.
Man.
Right? Like, I don't see why not.
Yeah.
But as long as it's the same 35 songs, and you hear the same song 3 times every hour,
exactly,
then we're not getting anywhere.
Yeah, we're getting brainwashed.
Right. Basically, that's what it is. Yeah,
it's a programming.
Yeah. So
there's too much music in the world for y'all to just play those over and over.
Right.
But then there's the whole business aspect.
Yeah, there's the business of it.
And the politics.
Right, being catchy. So I think do what you have to do to break through.
Yeah.
But once you break through, now you're on the main stage, on the pedestal. So you really have a chance to be the voice.
Yeah, exactly. And so with that comes responsibility.
Right.
No doubt, man. So telling me a little bit about some projects that you're working on.
Okay.
You're working on a mixtape?
Yeah, so I have another mixtape coming out. As soon as I can do it, it's going to be the 7 Deadly Sins.
Uh-oh.
So if you're not aware, I just dropped not too long ago on Dat Piff 2. It was the A Week in the Life. In 7 days, right? So a week in the life. And
that's on Dat Piff right now?
Yeah, it's on Dat Piff right now.
Yeah, I gotta check that out.
Yeah.
Make sure I get that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Put that on the scene.
Yeah. And then so I have 7 Deadly Sins that I'm working on, right? There's 7 of them. Yeah. And then after that, I'm gonna drop Lucky Number 7. And I like to deal with numbers and numerology. So 7, so lucky number 7. Finally, I hope that by the end of this year, I can either be working on or almost finished with the full album, and it's going to be called 21 Gun Salute.
Oh, wow.
All original music, all original lyrics, like production-wise, everything,
right.
Owned by me.
Yeah.
Because that's the way to do it.
Absolutely. So do you plan on, like, learning how to produce your own stuff, or you got some producers in mind?
Producers in mind, learn how to do it myself, the whole thing.
The whole thing.
Yeah,
just go with just see how it goes, you know what I'm saying?
That's right.
And just do the best, you know what I'm saying? Make the best decision. That's cool. So the mixtape, what was the mixtape that's on Dat Piff right now?
Dat Piff right now, it's called A Week in the Life.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mystah GT.
And how many tracks is on there?
7.
7, okay.
Yeah.
So what's the deal with number 7?
Well, so 7, it's a good number.
Yeah.
Like 7, 11.
Right.
And really, it just kind of worked out that way. You know, I was thinking about the weeks, and people always look up different things. So,
Right.
you know, I thought, well, let me make a song about the weekend. Like, people always type in weekend, you know, go
Exactly.
to YouTube, hey, what about the weekend? Type that
Right.
in, boom,
Wow.
and that pops up, you know?
For real.
So it's like free advertising,
Well, that's
basically.
marketing, bro.
Yeah, marketing.
That's marketing. And you work in marketing, right?
Right, yeah. Actually,
Exactly.
I know a
See,
little
man,
bit about
man.
marketing.
You're ahead of the game,
Yeah.
man. Once you get all the business things, you gonna sell, man, for real.
Yeah.
So, where do you get some of the, like, who inspires you? You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
like
man.
some of your influences, or maybe even, you know, sports figures, athletes, whatever.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah, I would say anybody successful in their lane.
Yeah.
And what that means is if somebody wanted to go out and be a sports star, right? Let's talk about someone I know, right? Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
He wanted to be the best, and for a long time he was, arguably still is. I'm not following sports
exactly.
too close anymore
Yeah.
for some other reasons.
Yeah.
But if that's what you want to do, then do it, but do it to the fullest.
Yeah.
You know, anybody that doesn't hold themselves back. Because
Right.
at the end of the day, the only person that's going to determine whether you can or you can't do something is you.
Absolutely. And that's game for you right there. So, well, is there any particular influences?
Okay, so I mean, influences is friends, family, anybody that I see around me doing something that's cool.
That
an
motivates you.
That motivates me because it's like if you can do it, I can do it,
Absolutely.
and if anything, we can all do it together.
Absolutely. So, what positive, inspiring words would you have for up and coming artists out there?
I would say work on your syllable count, work on your cadence, work on your bar structure. Don't just write forever. And
I mean, but what about the artists who aren't musicians? Just
just
you know what
artists
I'm
in
saying?
general, man, spread a good message.
Yeah.
You know, spread something that if your grandchildren were to find, they'd be like, yo, that was
Exactly.
awesome. You know, they knew what they were doing.
Exactly. That's so important, man. And see, we don't think like that. You know what I mean? We got to think like that as a collective, man, because, you know, what we do is power, man. It's established as soon as we get the thought and move on it. You know what I mean? So, you know, you do a lot of marketing type stuff. You do a lot of charity stuff.
Sure.
How important is giving back to the community for you?
Oh man, it's huge. You know,
Yeah.
like if you can ever help somebody out, like help them out.
Right.
You know, what we're doing right now, which actually now that I think about it, we should start getting it more main play. But
Yeah.
we actually do potlucks, like every 2 weeks or so at my house.
Really?
It's right outside of literally one street outside of Pasadena. It's in Eagle Rock. But yeah, we do potlucks, you know, and like that's community. That's bringing people
Absolutely.
together
Oh,
over
wow.
food.
Yeah.
And it's always an open invitation.
Oh,
you know,
wow.
if people want to show up, bring something if you can. I understand. Hope you
Wow.
do though.
Hey man, we bringing it together at Mystah G house, man.
Yeah.
We gonna have the address posted up there for y'all.
It's on right now. It's
Oh,
on.
is it?
It's on right now.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
and
man.
so it's just for communal
Mystah
purposes.
GT, yeah, man. Just come out, bring some food. We'll eat, talk, hang out,
Yeah.
drink, whatever you want to do. It's your life. You
Wow,
know?
that's
So,
awesome, man. Not many people, you know, sacrifice their space or whatnot. You know what I mean,
It's
or
our
even their
space.
time.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
just to do that. You know, come
Yeah.
together, eat. You know, just fellowship. You know what I mean, and just relate. You know, discuss, talk. You know, for sure. So, you got any bars for us? You know what I'm saying? Exclusive freestyle. You know what I mean?
Exclusive freestyle. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, we ready when you
any
are.
topic?
Topic. Nah, man, just take it.
Okay.
Just go with it.
Okay. I'm spitting super slow because I can't do it quickly. And girls are getting mad, but you know it's Mystah GT. If I rep the 32-3 or the 62-6, it's all good. Now I got bricks. B, okay. You see how he does it? You gotta love the steez. Now I'm talking to my cousin. We're all family, and you don't have to understand. If I'm talking like this, it's because I'm talking like a man. And if you want to go backward and go to the basics, you could tie your shoes, but see, mine don't have any laces. See, the things that I like to do, I feel like I'm at an institute, and if you tie my hands behind my back, then I'll break right through. There's a couple more things that I want to touch on, and it's talking about unity, and it really kind of hurts. Because I see a lot of people, and they don't see me as the same. But when I look at them, all I see is the pain. Because if you keep on blocking us out, then that's what's going to happen. But if you say, well, come on in, then we'll make it active.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was exclusive, Mr. GT, bro. That was dope, man. Thank you. So, yeah, man, you got any shout-outs you want to drop? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man. Shout out to everybody, like family, also Amani, ENG. Really, those are the biggest, like, 3 right now that have been helping me out with my recent projects. But shout out to anybody that wants to jump on, help out, do some shows, like, spread the word, spread the message.
Absolutely.
And I want to, you know, shout you out as well.
No doubt.
You know what I mean? So thank you. Yeah. Super Wilson. So thank you so much.
Yeah, and I
man.
thought it was kind of ironic that we both had Mystah.
Yeah,
you know?
mine spelled different.
Yeah, I was grateful for that.
Yeah.
You know, I was just like,
Yeah.
you know, it's with a Y. You know, I can roll with that.
Yeah, a little bit different.
You know, but I made that name because, you know, Facebook didn't let me use MR. You know what I'm saying? So I had to spell it out. You know? And that's just what I came with. But hey, man, it's been a pleasure having you, man.
All right.
You know what I'm saying, for this exclusive interview. Before we cut out real quick, man, where can we hear your music at?
You can go to soundcloud.com/Mystah GT. You can also go to DatPiff. Got an account on there. You can just search Mystah GT as well.
And how you spell Mystah GT?
It's MYSTAH GT.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah.
Mystah GT, Wilson Block 100 Radio. We out.